Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Lawler here. Going to be talking about roster rumors for you all today because, as we know, Copenhagen is going on and there's a lot more teams back home sitting on their hands doing nothing. So we've got some roster rumors that have piled up, a couple that are more understanding and more familiar. Shift has obviously been doing their research and trying to find out what they can. But we've also got some whispers from behind the scenes about some changes that are occurring. Not gonna waste any time. First one coming from Shift is going to be about NRG, where they are going to go through an iteration. And because you guys liked it so much last time, rather than reading a bunch of text, we've got MS Paint in a very terrible way. So this one's pretty straightforward, but you can kind of see the hilarity that is NRG because of how many changes they have made. If you guys aren't familiar, NRG came in during this offseason and are like, all right, we're saying goodbye to Justin and let's bring in this new young gun. We got Frosty. He's this new kid. He's really talented. He should be a really solid option. And then they played with him for like a month and then they booted him and then they brought in Toasty and they're like, yep, let's play with Toasty. Things are going pretty well. Let's see how... No, just kidding. We're going to get rid of that because Dries, who was supposed to retire, came over. What I'm trying to say is NRG has done a lot of really dumb stuff. I don't know what the management decision has been like over there. Can't say I agree with it. So they tried out with Dries. That hasn't been working out either. So now it looks like they're probably going to do some more rebuilding with Garrett and Mist. And we'll go from there. The current rumors right now are that Aqua, now that the Muffin Men is what feels like no more, Squishy has retired officially and gone full-time content creation for Rule 1. I don't know why my frame rate is like negative right now, so I apologize there. But Squishy has retired. He's now on Rule 1. He is a content creator for them full-time. Gimmick, I don't know what's going to happen with Gimmick. I don't know if he's getting tryouts. We don't know what the situation is. But Aqua did showcase a lot of individual effort and a lot of individual talent. Was getting a lot of praise as well during the season, and rightfully so. Looks like he may go to NRG and be that new third with Garrett and Mist. That's what the current conversation is. But with that in mind, there is a lot of different moving parts that have been conversed about. I think the frustrating thing for a lot of these teams in particular is that you are bringing in a new player, whether it be a young player or even Aqua, who's been around for a while with Koi and everything else. You're also talking about Gyro with Dignitas and stuff. You need to give these players time to develop and fall into your system or become familiar with it. And because these seasons move so fast where you have an event every single weekend, it's either main event or qualifier, no breaks. The fact that Frosty never got chance to even play in the RLCS with NRG, to me, was like, what are we doing here? So I think there's some complications in that regard. But other rumors that are starting to develop alongside that. First and foremost, we have conversations around that Dignitas team where there has been discussions, as we've mentioned. I tweeted about this saying that, hey, like, I am surprised if this actually ends up happening, but there is more and more conversations from what I've been hearing that the Stizzy thing that I pretty much completely removed. Like, I have talked to Stizzy before, barely, because his English is not amazing, but I hear it is decent from his teammates. There is rumors that Stizzy is going to be going to Dignitas. Whether that ends up happening officially or not, we'll have to wait for confirmation, not only from the players and the coach, but the team itself. Again, just rumors. We can't officially lock it in, but if that does end up happening, that then opens up a pretty interesting conversation over for Magnifico. With Magnifico in particular, they are a team that was at one point tied for 4th place. Right now, they're sitting 5th, 6th place, and that's sought after. Like, you are the next closest team to making it to the World Championship. So to me, even though that team is unsigned, I think that's heavily sought after for tryouts and opportunities for some of these other teams that are outside of that bubble. I think you look at, you know, teams like Oxygen and stuff, which I don't know if they're going to be making any changes. I don't know if they're going to do any switch ups, primarily just because, like, we have financial compensation. We are covered in those regards. But when you look at some of the other teams in Europe in particular, you're talking Team 3, Redemption, Bella Goal, Fast Forward. Like, some of these rosters, Top Cougars, that have players of notability, or even like Suh. I mean, Suh with Tecos was a complete addition that was like, okay, this team's really solid. Though is left now. So do you remove those two rosters and make one super roster and say, okay, Stizzy's out, Tecos is in because he's proven that he's capable, and then Suh completely disbands and their points are gone? Or do you do something else? Those are conversations that need to start happening, because that Magnifico spot, being number 5, is the closest you can get to making the World Championship. So Magnifico spot, I think, is very heavily sought after if Stizzy ends up going. On the other side, I feel absolutely horrible for Atomic and Tox. To lose Stizzy is really, really tough, but It is the nature of the business. When you have a player who is young, who needs opportunity to earn financial compensation, you got an org like Dignitas that's willing to do it. You take that. You take that every time. And that's no hard feelings, because Dignitas is in the exact same situation over in North America. Right now, they're tied for 5th with M80 and Space Station and TSM. Something's got to give in order to push yourself ahead and try to give yourself a chance to go to Major 2. Because if you make Major 2 in London, then there's a chance you can go to Worlds. So pretty interesting stuff developing there. Also, a little bit selfish on my end, because I do like the kid, is Rukia. He was that young Swede that was playing, that got his first chance with Novo Esports into the RLCS. He's been going through some tryouts, and it sounds like he is teaming up or potentially trying out with Noasaki. So good to see that some attention being given to some of these young talent, but that's nothing new in Europe. So some pretty interesting happenings. We'll try to keep you guys up to date on more and more as the season develops. But the big two, Aqua potentially to NRG, and Stizzy from Magnifica over to Dignitas becoming likely. I didn't think it was ever going to happen because of the language barriers, but I know Violent Panda's in this chat. I've got some big concerns. So trust the process, whatever you want to say, man. I'm worried about that process. That's all I'm going to say. I have some massive concerns if Stizzy is going over there. Jokingly, maybe not. Maybe Stizzy is using it as a stepping stone so he can weasel his way into complexity for Dorito in the future. We'll have to wait and see. Either way, if you guys enjoy the content, like, subscribe, notifications. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.